Church in the Valley, where we love God, love people, and serve the world. My name is Neve, and I'd like to share with you some of the things that are happening at CIV. This week is Father's Day, and we want to celebrate all of our fathers today.
If you're still struggling with life in the real world, you're going to love our latest home speaker device.
Hey Dad, what kind of pliers should I use on this?
You should be using a wrench.
Oh, do I have a wrench?
You have 3.
Thanks, Dad.
Introducing the Dad Personal Assistant, our newest smart speaker with all the character and compassion of a father.
Up and at 'em, it's a beautiful day.
Dad, it's Saturday.
Yeah, it's a great day to get outside.
It's 6 a.m.
Well, then you better get moving before it gets any later.
Designed with advanced features, the Dad PA connects to all your other smart home devices.
Dad, please set the thermostat to 70 degrees.
No problem. Setting the thermostat to 68 degrees.
No, let's keep it at 70 degrees.
Sure thing.
Thanks, Dad.
We're gonna save so much money.
He syncs with your calendar to help you stay on track.
Looks like you're overdue for an oil change.
Oh, hey, you're right. Can you schedule one for Friday?
I've already got it scheduled. Just don't miss it, okay?
Okay, I won't.
Seriously, don't miss it.
The Dad PA is always watching out for you.
Lights on. Hey, it's getting late. I think it's about time for Brad to head home.
Dad!
The Dad Personal Assistant includes a wealth of knowledge and opinions on a wide variety of subjects.
Dad, can you help me with my taxes?
Dad, do you know a good mechanic?
Hey Dad, can you tell me a joke?
Sure. The joke is $1 billion.
I don't get it.
That's right. And you never will.
Nice one.
Oh, I'm hilarious.
Based on God's original design, the Dad Personal Assistant is wise, caring, faithful, and devoted.
Don't worry. You've got this. You are the strongest person I know. You have made me so proud. You are God's child, and you don't need anyone else to complete you, especially not Brad.
Really, Dad?
I'm just saying, there's other fish in the sea.
Okay, wow.
The Dad Personal Assistant. Always thoughtful, always dependable, and always there for you.
We have some birthdays and anniversaries we'd like to share with you today. Happy birthday to Lily Winkeller, who turned 60 on June 24th, and Carolyn Hove, who turned 75 on June 25th. Celebrating anniversaries, we have Ron and Peggy Burgeon celebrating 50 years together today, as well as Tim and Linda Gertz celebrating 45 years together tomorrow. We pray each and every one of you is showered with blessings as you celebrate. Are you looking for a summer job? A summer position with Acts of Kindness is a terrific way to learn business skills, community development, partner with a mentor, build your network, and get real-world experience before graduation. If you're interested in any of these positions and would like to join the AOK team this summer, email your resume to the AOK coordinator at andreline@actsofkindness.ca. Applications will close by June 30. On June 27th, AOK is bringing back Single Mom's Oil Change. If you are or know a single mom who could use a little boost, make sure to get registered at www.actsofkindness.ca. Also, if you are interested in volunteering, please contact Pastor Walter or Kathy Johnson by emailing kidszone@churchinthevalley.ca. Kidzone Day Camp is back for 2021. We have worked hard to maximize safety, fun, and affordability. We have 6 unique camps planned starting July 12th at the same $199 per week price as last year. Registration is now open, so visit www.kidzonecamp.ca to learn more and to register. We've had a long year filled with obstacles, but as the school year is wrapping up, we'd love to celebrate with all of our graduates this year. We are celebrating 21 graduates from FEAA and many more from our CIV church family. Congratulations, class of 2021.
Change is coming. There's a light out from the sun. A new time, a new day, a new world is coming. And I can see the dawn has just begun. A new home, a new way is on the horizon. We're making the world a better place, one person at a time. Making the world a better place, one day at a time. And it starts right now. Change the world. Change the world. Change the world. Change is blowing like the wind through the trees. The wheels are spinning and life is in motion. And I can see a light shine through the leaves. A new spark of new life is on the horizon. We're making the world a better place, one person at a time. Making the world a better place, one day at a time. And it starts right now. It starts right now. It starts right now. Change the world. Change the world. Change the world. We're making the world a better place, one person at a time.
The Sabbath School Bible Studies guides for the months of July to September are here at the church and ready for you to pick up. We have regular study guides as well as the Ellen G. White notes for the Sabbath School lessons. You can come by and pick up your copy at the church during office hours, Monday to Thursday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. We are so excited to invite you back to in-person worship services here at CIV. We are once again able to gather for limited capacity in-person worship services for groups of 90 people or less. Pre-registration will open on our church website and by phone each Wednesday at 9 a.m. for the upcoming Sabbath. And for those who prefer to wait a little longer before attending, you are invited to continue gathering with us online through our Church at Home worship experiences from the comfort and safety of your home. Our offering today is for Church in the Valley, also known as our local church budget. As we begin to open our doors for worship, your donation here has the greatest impact on our ministry. We invite you to worship through giving by using the link on our website at www.churchinthevalley.ca and choosing the Church in the Valley option, or you can also drop off your donation at the church office this coming week on Monday to Thursday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Thank you once again for your generosity and support of Church in the Valley, even during the midst of this pandemic. Oh, that's it for now. Thank you for joining us as either in person or online. Stay tuned as Pastor Grant continues us on Route 66, giving us a deeper look into the book of Ecclesiastes.
Happy Father's Day, everyone, and welcome to Church in the Valley, where we love God, love people, and serve the world. I'm Pastor Grant, and I'm so glad you're able to join us today for our Worship at Home experience as we dive into the book of Ecclesiastes. The words of the teacher, son of David, king in Jerusalem. Meaningless, meaningless, says the teacher, utterly meaningless. Everything is meaningless. What do people gain from all their labors at which they toil under the sun? That's Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 1 to 3. And when we read something like this, probably one of the first questions that comes to mind is, what kind of book is this? I mean, when the Bible was being compiled, did someone say, let's include this writing because it is just so encouraging to the one who reads it? I mean, let's face it, Ecclesiastes is very depressing, very discouraging. This is not the sort of reading that you want to do before going to bed at night. The book of Ecclesiastes chronicles the human quest for meaning and purpose in life. Why am I here? How does one find joy and happiness? The teacher that we talked about there at the very beginning shares an existential journey of discovery. The only problem is that every avenue of inquiry turns into a dead end, and the search for meaning and purpose seems to apparently go unfulfilled. Every pursuit for answers only raises more questions. In 1993, actor Bill Murray starred in a romantic comedy film that has over time become an icon, ingrained into the collective consciousness of North American society. It's the film Groundhog Day. Now, on the surface, the film appears somewhat frivolous and shallow, but on a much deeper level, it is, in fact, the book of Ecclesiastes in film. You see, Groundhog Day is a chronicle of one man's journey of discovery of what brings joy, what brings happiness, meaning, and purpose to life. If you've never seen the film, the plot goes something like this. Phil Connor is a Pittsburgh weatherman who is extremely self-centered and egotistical. Sent on assignment to Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania to cover the annual Groundhog Day festivals, he ends up in some kind of a time loop, and every morning he wakes up in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, and it's always February 2nd. He keeps on living the same day over and over and over. Now, initially, he realizes that, hey, if there's no tomorrow, then there are no consequences to his actions today. And so, for a while, he goes on a binge of self-indulgence. Reckless driving, overindulging in food, meaningless flings, theft, and even other dangerous activities. And at first, it seems fun and enjoyable to him. But it doesn't provide any fulfillment. And so he decides to pursue the affections of his television producer, Rita Hansen. But Rita is not interested, and she can see right through his essentially selfish character. Phil gradually becomes depressed and begins to hate life, and this leads him to attempt suicide in a variety of different ways. And yet, each morning he wakes up and it's still February 2nd. At one point, he tries to confide in his producer Rita about what he's going through and to get her to understand him. I want to take a look at that scene this morning as we look at the book of Ecclesiastes.
Oh, okay. Well, who's that?
This is Tom. He worked in the coal mine until they closed it down.
And her?
It's Alice. Came over here from Ireland when she was a baby. She lived in Erie most of her life.
He's right. And her?
Nancy. She works in the dress shop and makes noises like a chipmunk when she gets real excited.
Hey!
It's true.
How do you know these people?
I told you, I know everything. In about 5 seconds, a waiter's going to drop a tray of dishes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay?
Okay, that's enough.
Yeah. Good save.
What about me, Phil? Do you know me too?
I know all about you. You like producing, but you hope for more than Channel 9 Pittsburgh.
Well, everyone knows that.
You like boats, but not the ocean. You go to a lake in the summer with your family up in the mountains. There's a long wooden dock and a boathouse with boards missing from the roof. And a place you used to crawl underneath to be alone. You're a sucker for French poetry and rhinestones. You're very generous. You're kind to strangers and children. And when you stand in the snow, you look like an angel.
How are you doing this?
I told you, I wake up every day right here, right in Punxsutawney, and it's always February 2nd. And there's nothing I can do about it. If you still can't believe me, listen. In 10 seconds, Larry is going to come through that door and take you away from me. But you can't let him.
Larry.
Please believe me. You've got to believe me.
You guys ready? We better get going if we're going to stay ahead of the weather. What's that?
If we're going to stay ahead of the weather.
There is a parallel, a thread of commonality that runs through Groundhog Day and the book of Ecclesiastes. You see, both narratives explore the meaning of life. The teacher of Ecclesiastes, just like Phil Connor, thought that joy could be found in pleasure. But after trying that out for a time, found out that that wasn't it. The teacher then tried wisdom, finding fulfillment in knowledge and education. But that didn't bring happiness either. He tried finding purpose and meaning in work. That wasn't it. And so what are we to make of this book of the Bible that seems to be very, very big on questions, but very scarce on answers? This book that continually utters the phrase, meaningless. Meaningless. All is meaningless, a chasing after the wind. One of the reasons that the book of Ecclesiastes can be difficult to follow and to make sense of is because of this word, meaningless. The Old King James Version of the Bible, and even the New Modern English Standard Version of the Bible, use the word vanity instead of meaningless. But the Hebrew word that is used for either vanity or meaningless is the Hebrew word havel. And havel in Hebrew means vapor, mist, or even breath. And so what the teacher is saying here is vapor. Vapor. Everything is vapor. Now, the nature of vapor is that it is there one moment and it is gone the next. It is transient. It is fleeting. It is momentary. And so, havel does not mean meaningless. See, that is an extrapolation. Somewhere in the history of time, a Bible translator interpreted the word that way. Now here's why. Here's why they decided that. Because the word havel means vapor or passing or temporary. And because it's vapor and because it's passing, it must be non-essential, non-consequential, meaningless, pointless. It's just passing and disappearing. It's just pointless. But that's not what the word means. Havel is vapor, and vapor is temporary. Horses, silver, wealth, cars, boats, your RRSP, vapor. Wisdom, understanding, knowledge, intelligence, education, learning, it's all vapor. Your body, your life, your friend's life. Here today, gone tomorrow. The one that you love. The one to whom you said, till death do us part. One day, one of you will be standing over the grave of the other. Life itself, according to the teacher, is a vapor. Now, the second phrase that comes up repeatedly is the phrase, under the sun. And this phrase is a euphemism for this life. The totality of from when you are born to when you die. Everything the teacher is talking about happens between birth and death. It is the realm of the created. It is the realm of that which we create, that which we cook up, that which we devise, that which we plot, plan, scheme, that which we paint, build, sing, plant, construct, that which we arrange, organize, administrate. It is the realm of the created. From the moment you breathe your first to the moment you breathe your last. And so when the teacher uses the phrase under the sun, he's referring to that which exists in time. Mainly the time between when you were born and when you die. Now, why is the realm of the created so important, so crucial to our understanding of what the teacher is trying to say? We'll get to the realm of the uncreated in just a moment, but let's talk about this a little bit. For centuries, biblical scholars have referred to the book of Ecclesiastes as wisdom literature. And wisdom literature traditionally offers you two different pathways. Right? So what the traditional wisdom teacher does is the teacher will contrast the wise and the foolish. Right? Wisdom is characterized by polar opposites. The book of Proverbs is also considered wisdom literature, and it's full of wisdom that is characterized by polar opposites. I mean, here's a very typical phrase that one might find in the book of Proverbs. This one's found in Proverbs chapter 10, verse 4. It simply says that lazy hands make for poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth. Do you see the two pathways being described there? If you choose the pathway of laziness, you're going to end up poor. If you choose the pathway of diligence and hard work, you will have wealth. Wisdom literature often describes the wise as careful with their words, and the foolish are promiscuous, and the wise are careful with how they use their money, and the foolish say all sorts of things and they don't really reflect on things, and they're not open to correction or rebuke, and the wise are patient, and so on. And so, for many of us, the way we understand wisdom literature is there are two pathways. And the idea is to do the right thing, to do the good thing, to do the wise thing, and you'll head in that direction. And if you do the foolish, unthinking thing, then you'll head in that direction. But that is not what is happening in Ecclesiastes. This is not about two different categories and the master teacher simply saying, here's the right way to go, and if you do A, you'll get B, and if you do B, you'll somehow get C, and now if you go over here in the foolish category and you do A, you'll get more foolishness and you move in this direction. This is not wisdom literature, at least not the kind of wisdom literature that we think of. The book of Ecclesiastes is for everybody who did the right thing, and you played by the rules, and you were moral and upright and righteous, and you gave it your best shot, and you still got the short end of the stick. You lost. You were betrayed. You failed. This writer is challenging the very notion that life is two simple categories, and that if you just do this, then you get this. This writer is questioning the very nature of those simplistic categories themselves. I mean, how many of you did play by all the rules, and you did all the right things, and it still went upside down on you? You see, this teacher is taking us into all sorts of new territory. Many people live with a dualistic perspective of the world. In other words, there's good and bad. And if you do this, you'll get this. And if you do this, then you'll get this. But for how many of us, we did the right thing and it still fell apart? Or, and here's the hard part, we made completely destructive choices, and those choices had serious consequences, and yet those choices took us to where we slammed into a brick wall, and we came to the end of ourselves, and we found a God who loved us and rescued us even then. And so all of a sudden, these nice, neat categories, they don't work. It's non-dual in the way that the universe works. It doesn't actually work the way it's supposed to. It works in some other way that's even more mysterious and profound. That's a bit of what we are experiencing here in Ecclesiastes. Well, just be wise, the writer would say. And the wise, it doesn't matter, because the wise and the foolish, they're both going to die. They both end up in the same place. The same fate overtakes them both. See, you can make all of the right moves in the right direction, and you can be morally superior to all those around you, and guess what? The idiot may die after you. Are you with me in this? This is wisdom beyond wisdom. This is something totally else. And this is why at the outset we have to sort of tune our frequencies differently. Because we are in the presence of a master teacher. And what a master teacher does is, first and foremost, disrupt you. You see, if you found yourself in the first couple of chapters of Ecclesiastes going like, whoa, wait, it's all going? Really? If you found yourself with a sense of dissonance and disruption, you see, here's what a master teacher has to do. If a master teacher doesn't in some way create dissonance and disruption of your life, and if a teacher does nothing more than to reaffirm all of the things that you already know and believe and do, then why do you need a teacher in the first place? You see, what a master teacher does is to create the kind of space where you experience disruption. The way you've been operating doesn't work anymore, and it's in that sort of, I need a new carpet to stand on because you yanked the old one out from under me, that you're now open to new wisdom and to truth that you had not yet grasped, and to insights that may take you into whole new worlds of freedom and truth and peace and joy. There was another master teacher who did the same thing. His name was Jesus. And he was famous for saying things like, "You've heard it said in ancient times, but I tell you." And his disciples were famous for saying things like, "This is a hard teaching. Who can accept it?" When Jesus taught, the people rarely said, "Oh, that makes a lot of sense." Most times, his followers had more questions after his teaching than they had prior. Jesus upset and created dissonance with the way that most people thought and lived. And so when you read the book of Ecclesiastes and you have this sense of, that's because we are in new territory. So, number 1, havel, vapor. Number 2, under the sun, that which we do and create during our lives. Number 3, there is this phrase that the teacher uses. There is this moment in chapter 2:11 where he says, "Yet, when I surveyed all that my hands had done and what I had toiled to achieve, everything was meaningless," vapor, havel, a chasing after the wind. Nothing was gained under the sun. Now, what the teacher does here is they're facing honestly and brutally everything that he had done. This is ruthless self-examination. This does not flinch from looking with a giant spotlight over what he had done. What you have here is essentially the teacher is talking about the existential hangover. This is the morning after. This is after the big event. It's like he's saying, listen, I had it. I had it all. I bought it all, built it all, did it all, accomplished it all, toiled for it all, labored for it all. No one had ever done the things that I had done. Every single thing that you have in your mind, that you think in your heart, if I just had that, if I just had her, if I just had them, if I just had that, well, let me tell you, I'm here to tell you, did it, bought it, built it, owned it, constructed it, financed it, and I'm here to tell you about the morning after you get everything you ever wanted. How many of you got what you wanted and then realized this is it? The teacher is saying, everything that I could gain or accomplish within the realm of the created, I did. And now that we've established that I have the authority within the realm of the created, I want to talk to you about that which exists beyond the realm of the created. The teacher, lamenting the meaninglessness, the havel, the temporariness of everything that is done, shares an insight. Chapter 2, verse 24 and 25, he says, a man can do nothing better than to eat and drink and find satisfaction in his work. This too, I see, is from the hand of God. For without him, who can eat or find enjoyment? So, when the teacher uses this word God, God is that which is uncreated. God is that which has no beginning, middle, or end. God is that which is not trapped in time. There is no born and then you die. With God, there is no havel. There's no vapor. There's no temporariness. There is this realm of vapor, which we all know, which is life, right? Finances, vineyards, horses, flocks, cars, bills, insurance, permission slips for field trips. There's that sort of vapor. All the stuff that we do, the created. And then what you find lingering on the edges of the teacher's words is this word, God. And this very slow, faint awareness that the things in life are a gift. There is that which is uncreated, which has invaded and extends itself into the realm of the created. And there it lingers around the edges. And so he says, without God, who can eat and find enjoyment? So when the teacher says a man can find nothing better than to eat and to drink and to find satisfaction in his work, is he saying here that the answer to life's mystery then is to indulge in pleasure? Not likely, because he's already previously pronounced on the meaninglessness of a life of hedonism. He tried it. It didn't work. So what is he talking about here when he talks about that man can find nothing better than to eat and drink and find satisfaction in his work? Here's where I think the teacher is going with this. Let me show you a picture. I'm going to put a picture up on the screen. This is a picture of a man hugging a woman. There are people in the background with hard hats, and there's a large metal tube off to the side. Do any of you remember this picture? It's a photo of the Copiapo mining disaster in Chile, October 13th, 2010. Do any of you remember that story from over 10 years ago? It was August 5th, 2010, when a cave-in at the San Jose gold mine trapped 33 miners under the Atacama Desert at a depth of 700 meters. Initially, no one knew if the miners had survived the collapse. Exploratory boreholes were drilled to see if any survivable cavities could be detected in the rock. 17 days after the accident, while they were drilling these exploratory boreholes, the drill was pulled up and a note was found taped to the drill bit when it was pulled back to the surface. And the note read, "We are well in the shelter, the 33 of us." Hours later, video cameras were sent down the narrow borehole and captured the first grainy images of the miners. Food, water, and other essential supplies were sent down to the miners through this tiny borehole. And a rescue plan was developed. It would involve drilling several shafts of increasing diameter so that they could eventually get the shaft to at least 28 inches in diameter. And then lowering a rescue pod down to the miners and extracting them one at a time. It took 38 days. Now remember, they've already been down there for 17 days. 17 days before they even found out if they were alive. And now it took another 38 days to drill and to prepare the shaft for extraction. On October 12, 2010, the first Chilean miner entered the escape pod and began his 15-minute ride to the surface. Altogether, the capsule made 39 round trips over a 25-hour time period, covering a total travel distance of 50 kilometers. The miners had been trapped for a total of 69 days. 69 days. 69 days of wondering, will I ever see the sun again? Will I ever see my family again? Will I ever experience the rays of sunshine on my face? After 69 days, the question is, will I live again? Or will I at some point breathe my last breath here under the earth? And so we have this picture here of a miner hugging his wife. At this moment, is this man who has just come up out of the earth after 69 days below the crust, is he thinking, I wonder how this is going to affect my RRSP? Is he thinking, I wonder what I've missed in the latest reality TV shows? Is he thinking, finally, now I can get the latest iPhone? No, none of that. Is he asking large questions about his place in the cosmos? No, I don't think so. Is he trying to make sure that his beliefs are lined up properly? No. Why? Because in this moment, he is overwhelmed with the one simple, absolute, undeniable fact, which is that life is a precious gift. Are you with me? He is not trying to find meaning or something here. No, he is there. He is there. There is pure, absolute, unadulterated, unfiltered awareness that life is a gift from God to be appreciated and enjoyed. There isn't anything else. You tap into that, and now you have a way to think and understand and process vapor. You see, my experience has been that most people spend the majority of their time trying to manage their vapor. And my experience has been that many people come to religion because they want somebody somewhere with some sort of authority to rearrange and to fix all of their vapor. Right? I want a better marriage. I want a better job. I want you to help me with my finances. I want you to help me with my heartache. I want you to help me get the vapor arranged properly. Assuming that if you get the vapor managed properly, that somehow magically it will lead to some other place of peace and calm and joy. What Jesus came to do is to give you, to invite you, show you, wake you up, and make you aware of what you already have, so that you don't spend all your time searching and striving and toiling for that which you had the whole time. Are we clear on this? Which of you, Jesus said, which of you by worrying can add a single hour to your life? You see, if you get this backwards, it's misery. It is meaningless. My experience has been that people arrive at this truth through one of two different ends of the spectrum. Either they crash and life is in some way taken from them. You know, this is why some of you who have fought cancer, or maybe some of you who have lost someone to cancer, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It took losing it all to understand what you had the whole time. Or the other way that people arrive at this truth is that they come searching because they've got everything. They've made the million. And somewhere between the 4th and 5th million, they begin to ask, is that it? Do I start working on the 6th million now? My friends, our lives are a vapor. That is a fact. And there's no escaping it. God calls to us and he says, live fully in the moment that I have given to you. It's my gift to you. Live fully in every moment because it is a gift from God.
Before I spoke a word, you were singing over me. You have been so, so good to me. Before I took a breath, you breathed your life in me. You have been so, so kind to me. And oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, precious love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. I couldn't earn it, I don't deserve it, still you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God, yeah. When I was your foe, still your love fought for me. You have been so, so good to me. When I felt no worth, you paid it all for me. You have been so, so kind to me. And oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. I couldn't earn it, I don't deserve it, still you give yourself away. And oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God, shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, a lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, a mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, a lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. Holy, overwhelming, never-ending, endless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm not leaving still you give yourself away. Holy, overwhelming, never-ending, endless love of God.
The reign of darkness now is ending in the kingdom of light, in the kingdom of light. Forever under your dominion, you're the king of my life, you're the king of my life. You reign above it all, you reign above it all. Over the universe and over every heart, there is no higher name. Jesus, you reign above it all. On the cross, the work was finished. God, you poured out your life just to give us new life. Now from the lips of the forgiven, hear an anthem arise, 'cause Jesus, you're alive. Oh, you reign above it all, you reign above it all. Over the universe and over every heart, there is no higher name. Jesus, you reign above it all. Let all of heaven and the earth erupt in song. Sing hallelujah to the everlasting one. There is no higher name. Jesus, you reign above it all. You reign above it all. You reign. You sent the darkness running out of an empty grave, now seated alone in glory, enthroned on the highest praise. You sent the darkness running out of an empty grave, now seated alone in glory, enthroned on the highest praise. You sent the darkness running out of an empty now seated alone in glory, enthroned on the highest praise. You send the darkness rise.